Hello, y'all, for Discovery Paranormal. If that's what you're looking for, you're in the right place. And tonight, we are talking about haunted holidays, man. If you think you're alone for the holidays, you're mistaken. Because Aunt Sally might be sitting in the corner looking at you right now, saying, "What a pathetic mess you are. What a mess you become since I've gone. Come back. Not even a Christmas ham in the fridge. Oh, God. So, how do you guys celebrate the holidays? You go out there, you party down, you hang out, you with family and friends. COVID-19 this year, just like last year, is putting a damper on people's festivities, but rightfully so. It is a pandemic and a public health emergency, and there's a brand new variant circulating around, at Omicron, that's doing its business. But Christmas or holidays, Kwanzaa, or whatever you celebrate, whatever, man. I like to celebrate Yule. So today is the winter solstice. So happy Yule. Have a good Yule to y'all, right? Good Yule. And that's where it all started. And then it was stolen by others and made into some kind of thing. Money, money making entity. That's Christmas. I keep watching all this British media about the COVID thing and watching things happen there. 28 days later, it happens here. So they're having their plume, and we're already having one here, a few of them anyway. But they kept going on about Christmas. What's about Christmas? You know what? That's the driving force of commerce. It's all about money. It's not about people and their emotions and love and respect and self-respect, respect of others. So during the holiday season and during your visitation sessions, people coming and going, you might smell them around, sense them around, hear them around. They get some kind of message for you, give a message back for them. How about you do something that celebrates them, you know? Like if they bake something special, why don't you bake it and talk about it? Talk about the nice memories. And all we could do in life is savor the memories. I mean, the day by day, life goes past pretty fast, and we lose our people. Lost my mom in April, so you know, it's horrible. I mean, horrible, horrible loss and horrible everything, and horrible holidays. It took all the flavor and happiness out of everything. So, and I was thinking, like, you know what? She didn't raise a fool either, and she didn't raise me to be weak. But I've been sharing stories just with friends, sometimes coworkers, just about little things my mom would do for the holidays. So it's respect, and you remember the good stuff. You're filling up the area with good memories and good energy and good vibes. Who doesn't want to come by and check out that type of thing? Relatives, friends, people that have passed. Who doesn't? Answer me that. So when you think of when you think of the holidays, I got a few cool stories to read actually. But when you think of the holidays, think about like how they came about, and it's easy to put a paranormal curve on holidays because they all are based in paranormal. You know, like the haunting Yule holiday traditions. Traditions. The burning of the Yule log is also a Yule holiday tradition that's passed down, incorporated into today's holidays. They have it now on the YouTube. You can have Christmas music and the Yule log going, right? If you don't have a fireplace, if you're not someone that's privy to having one. But it says no one's quite sure when ghost stories first came associated with Christmas time. Some people actually believe the tradition is older than Christmas itself. Ghost stories first, Christmas second, before Christmas was a holiday. So the Germanic people of Europe celebrated a festival called Yule, which came at the end of the year. I have I think 17% of me is German or Germanic Europe, put it that way, according to 23 and Me. So during the longest, darkest nights of the year, it was thought that it was a barrier between our world and the afterlife, and became thinner and thinner, and the ghosts were more likely to appear on Earth. This led to all kinds of stories about ghosts being told. Eventually, many Yule traditions were incorporated into Christmas, stolen, misappropriated. They took all the pagan holidays and shifted them over a few days and made them their own. It's kind of funny. Uh, so this includes all the ghost stories. So the scary Scrooge specters, right? That 1863. Charles Dickens was talking about a Christmas Carol where the book was very popular at the time, a huge hit. It helped reignite people's love for the Christmas season. It also helped associate the season with ghosts and spending, right? I mean, it was that dude who was doling out the bucks for the Christmas turkey, goose, or whatever the hell he was getting for the family that he was abusing. Bob Cratchit, that name. Uh, so like those, all the ghosts that came by. If you were a ghost, like in that three, the three ghost type of thing, which one would you be, man? Would you be the ghost of the past and come check out his past, make him cry? The ghost of the present, what's going on today? Or a ghost of the future? No future. Coffin. You see Scrooged with Bill Murray? It's very cool. Very cool movie. So after all this, after this guy's telling ghost stories, ghost stories became a beloved part of Christmas in England. Families would gather around the fire and read stories to scare and thrill one another. Some people read stories written by popular authors of the day, while others came up with their own. They're open-minded. They were all closed. I don't believe in no ghost. With a ghost sitting next to them. Others still told stories that had been passed down in their families for generations. Ghostly Christmas storytelling. One of the best ghost story writers of all time was a guy named M.R. James. James was a professor, but one of his favorite hobbies was writing ghost stories. Back in the early 1900s, he would throw parties for friends and students every Christmas Eve. There, he would tell his latest story. He didn't just read it, he would act it out with gestures and voices like a little play kind of going on, right? So, what are your traditions? I want to know. I really don't want not much of a way for you telling me. All right. We all have our traditions and we all have the things that we do. You know what? I really don't like ads and Christmas ads, and it's so weird, you know? Like, it's so just prepackaged crap. People trying to just dip into your pocket and take your money. That's what the holidays have become for a lot of people out there. With kids, they're happy. They're getting showered with gifts. Some of them, the poor ones, aren't. You know, you know. How come Santa Claus only gives expensive gifts to rich kids? You ever think of that? Uh huh. So let's see. A few years ago, here's this: the Downton Abbey Christmas special, bloody old England, featured a Ouija board which communicated a message from a dead character. American reviewers were very puzzled by this incursion of the supernatural, while the British reviewers found it unexceptional. Indeed, few bothered even to mention it. Why? Let's see. The answer lies with a long tradition of the Christmas ghost stories, of course. We talked about Dickens. We talked about other stuff. Let's see. Reminiscing an 1850 essay, A Christmas Tree, about a childhood Christmases spent telling winter stories. So basically, you're especially back in the day. Not so much now, but back in the day. Well, I mean, yeah, I guess now with COVID, you're stuck. You're stuck inside with your family and telling stories. There was no internet, there was no cell phones, none of that stuff, not even a radio for way back then. They only had to entertain each other, right? So they told stories. And then a lot of these stories were based in reality. I mean, this is going so that's just kind of cool because people tend to associate the scary stories with like Halloween, but it's not. It's entertainment. And people tend to forget that those musicians out there, those actors, the dancers, the prancers, the people putting on the show are merely entertainers. And I say merely, I'm not putting them down, but I think that our society, other societies, idolize people for that talent when really they're not curing cancer, they're not solving any worldwide hunger problems or anything like that. They just get on top and live lavish lifestyles, and there's other people who just have to suffer. I mean, it's hard to think about it. There was just some Arab sheikh who got a divorce at, like, English court. They awarded his wife like a $500 million, and this £500 million, which is more than $500 million American bucks. And because of the life that she's used to, the $400 million yacht and all this other stuff. You know what? It's disgusting, man. And to me, that spiritually would suck the life out of you. You know, I wouldn't be able to think about, like you see a lot of images of children around the world drinking mud water and eating rats, basically. That happens, right? So I never forget to be thankful for what I have, but if I had more, I would definitely give more. So anyway, family believes Christmas present unleashed paranormal activity into their home. You know what's cool about this? It's the gift that keeps on giving, isn't it? You know, give somebody a haunted gift. I'm on eBay trying to buy haunted gifts all day long so I can give presents to people. Here's this teddy bear. By the way, it's haunted. Here's this kitchen knife set. By the way, it was used to murder a bunch of people. It's haunted. Merry Christmas. Let's see. It sounded like someone knocking on the wall. Knock, knock, knock. That's how Whitney Merritt describes the beginning of nearly 3 weeks of alleged paranormal activity her family endured after receiving a Christmas present last month. How many ghost hunters are listening right now? How many paranormal investigators would be like, oh man, I'd be there with my equipment, reason to dust off your stuff, crank it up. Can you show yourself to me? Give me a sign. The present was a vintage doll carriage. Her mother had gotten it from a friend of a friend and had gifted it to Whitney's daughter. Usually, stuff that comes around like that is somebody trying to get rid of a haunted thing and they just take it. Here, take it. Do you want this? You take it, right? And then the haunted gift sat by the Christmas tree for a few days. The knocking, Whitney says, began on the beginning of the year. They would hear it on the walls of their home, which they recently moved into. The sounds grew so loud that on two occasions, Whitney walked to the front door thinking someone was outside. It was midnight, dark and scary. So Whitney called her husband, Michael, who works nights. Yes, honey, I hear tapping. No, rapping at the chamber door. Oh, nevermore, nevermore. I think someone's at the front door. She told him before turning on the porch light. When you turn the porch light on first, I think someone's at the front door. I've seen that in so many horror movies where the dude jumps out from behind her with a mask, like ah, and then she opened it. I think someone's at the front door. It's midnight. She's there. Her husband's out working. So what does she do? She opens the door, and no one was there. So that's just a whole line of stupidity. And just saying. And then about the third or fourth night, when it was, we started hearing like boom, boom, boom in the attic. She recalls as she rubs her chest, leaving it red. I like this. I like where this story's going. At first, they simply wrote it off. The home was built in 1992, and maybe it was just settling in. I love it when people say that. It's just settling. The walls start bleeding, and someone says, "Get out." It's just settling. That's you trying to ignore. I paid a lot for this goddamn house. It's just settling. Do you get it? Oh, get out. You get out. You don't pay my taxes. You get out. Go to that cheap house down the street. You terrorize them. I paid for this place. I paid cash. Get out my ass. You get out. I think someone's at the front door. Boom, boom, boom. So it, let me just push my way in here. It's not the fact that they got this baby carriage. The baby carriage is haunted. The house might have been haunted, even though it was built in 1992. It doesn't matter. You know what? Best pictures I ever got. Full body apparition was in a guy who lived in an apartment building that was just 2 years old. It was his family that came to visit for Christmas. Christmas. And we got their pictures, which is awesome. Amazing. All right. So the house is settling. I don't know. Logical reasons I'm trying to come up with my head, Whitney admits. She's making up all kinds of stuff. Could be the wind blowing. But soon the sounds above the living room became so frequent that they could no longer be ignored. So one weekend in the middle of the night, Michael went to the attic carrying a shotgun. He was going to shoot the ghost. That doesn't work. You know that doesn't work. I'll just let you know. Not that I've ever tried it. Or maybe it might work. I don't know. I never heard anybody was shooting a ghost. I got my shotgun. Gonna go up there and shoot that ghost. Dude, where are you, ghost? I'll go with shotgun. Boom! He starts blowing holes in the walls of his attic. Oh, you're over there. Yeah. Boom! chasing some. They all through the house. uh, well, he had a shotgun and flashlight. He was expecting to find someone up there, so he was gonna shoot that person and make them into a ghost. We thought it was a ghost. I went up there. There was some vagrant living in my attic, and I shot him. And now he is a ghost, and he's bothering us. Damn it! Let's see. We were out there making so much noise. Whitney says people probably thought we were crazy. Ah. No, people are looking across the street saying, "Hey, look at those people in that haunted house, man. I guess they're gonna be moving soon." We thought there was someone in the attic, but there was no one there. So ended week one. Week two started with a bang. It was around 2 or 3 in the morning, veil is very thin, when Whitney was awakened by what she calls a dead sleep. The noise was so loud, she says that she thought their dog had crashed through the window of their door. She grabbed her shotgun. They got a lot of shotguns in this house. Her shotgun, they got like his and hers. I ain't going to their house, man. I don't know if you're a ghost. Probably not good to hang around there. She grabbed her shotgun and walked around the house and found nothing. In the morning, she, while she, it's probably pink, Little pink shotgun. In the morning, while while walking into the kitchen, let's see, she discovered a bag on the ground. A bag. In the bag, there were coffee mugs that she had recently purchased from TJ Maxx. The bag was 3 to 4 feet away from the table. Both the mugs were broken. Ah, there was no way that they could have fallen off at all, Whitney says adamantly. I mean, they weren't on their side or anything. They're not just going to roll, you know what I mean? They just don't roll mugs by themselves off a table onto the floor and break. The next night, another bang. It was around 3:30 in the morning. Whitney rushed into the kitchen to find another bag on the floor. Inside, another shattered mug. This time, shards of glass had come out of the bag, and so Whitney began sweeping it up. After putting the glass in the trash can, Whitney started walking back to her bedroom when she said she heard a sound of someone dropping a load of silverware into the sink. That's some loud right there. I mean, I wasn't even back to the bedroom yet, and when I turned around, I about broke my neck, she says. And I went back to the sink to look and see what it was. Maybe something slipped and fell. But I had just done the dishes, and there was nothing in the sink. So I was freaked out. I stayed up for a while. Really? You didn't go back to bed? After all that, with your shotgun? The last week, a series of events occurred, most involving her children's rooms and their toys. Oh man, you got definitely a mischievous little nasty entity there. Nasty, nasty. Obviously, a little crap going on. They're just trying to get your attention to say that they're there, you know. The dream catcher and lamp in her daughter's room fell to the floor multiple times. After investigating it the second time they fell, Whitney and Michael were walking back to their bedrooms with their shotguns. I just imagine they walk around with a shotgun. Probably the kids got a shotgun too. My daughter took her shotgun out when she saw this on the floor. They went back to the bedrooms. The bathroom door slammed behind them. Boom! There's a picture of the dream catcher laying on made in China. That's fun. That's fun. Dream catcher made in China. At first, they thought maybe one of their children had gone to the bathroom, but the light never came back on. So my husband opened up the door real quick and turned the light on, and there was nothing there, Whitney says. He then stood there, messing with the doors in the hallway for a minute, trying to find a logical explanation. These guys are like the dumbest logical explanation type of people. You know what? Just funny. Well, let me see this door. Is it open? Let me close. Honey, give him my shotgun. I'm going to shoot this door. I'm going to shoot it off its hinges. And shoot the light out, too. Like maybe it was the suction that's slamming the door. Why? What were they doing? Causing so much of that suction. And there was a tornado coming through, but the door never moved again. The next day, the family was in the living room where one of the children's toy cars started playing music repeatedly. Said, one day I'm going to get you. Going to see, oh, one day I'm going to get you. Or what's that other one? I always feel like someone is watching me. And they'd be right. Started playing music. We've had, you know what, in our investigations, all this stuff going on here, we've gotten all of that separately in other places. The toys going on, the kids playing with spirits and all that other stuff. On and on and on. Lots, man. All kinds of stuff. Doors slamming. When I moved up to Lake George area back in 1993, January of 1993, to be exact. January 2nd of 1993. So I move up there, And I moved into this old stone house, right? It's an apartment. Had four apartments like in the front, big, huge. I mean, like the stone house itself was built big and had 22-inch thick walls, and it was built in the late 1700s. Initially for crazy people, which they would chain to the walls in the basement and let them starve to death most of the time. And there was a corridor that went from that main house to another house that was out there that they used as some kind of infirmary. And then in the hallway, 'cause, the winters up there are so severe. I guess they just had this long corridor where people died, and then like they were like stuffed their bones in the walls, and every once in a while you see a bone sticking out or part of a skull. Yeah, that's where I moved. If I had known this, you know what? There was no internet back then, man. You couldn't check on anything. You're moving into an area and you don't know anybody there. You can't ask them any pointed questions like, "Hey, is the house I'm moving into the freaking horror house of Warrensburg?" So, so one night there was one particular bedroom I could never truly get warm. It's not that the heater didn't go on; it was electric heat. And when you're fighting those cold temperatures up there, it's hard to do. But it wasn't that. There was something else in that room. I never really slept in that room. I slept mainly on my couch. And my cat. I had two cats. I had a cat. My cat had a friend. You know what I'm saying? And the cat would like sleep like on the back of the couch above my head. And I just tend to stay out of that room. So one night when my friends called me, we were chatting away, and I went into that room and I sat down in the bed, and it's funny that neither cat would ever come in that room. They would stand instead in the hallway looking into the room, which is even weirder than not coming into the room. Do you know what I mean? Not coming in, weird. Staring in there and not coming in, weirder. So I'm sitting there talking to my friend. I don't know what the hell we were talking about. And all of a sudden the door like moved by itself. Whoop. Now, this is probably like late January. There's no wind. How many windows open? This is big, heavy doors. You had to move the door. You actually had to make an effort. It wasn't like these chintzy doors they make these days. This was a real solid door, original to the property. So it moves about 6, 7 inches, and then I just said to my friend on the phone, My door just moved like half a foot." And I'm like, "Can you make it go back again? Can you move the door back?" And the door moved back. So at that point, I understood something about the world that maybe I didn't understand before. And there were forces that were out there that, it just things that you may not understand, that you'd like to understand, that you research to understand. And even after you research to death, you still may not understand it. You like that. So, and I wasn't a ghost hunter. I wasn't in paranormal back then. I was an entertainment writer for Good Times magazine on Long Island in the city, man. And then I had moved upstate to get away from it all for like 6 months, just to get away from everything. At that point, I was starting to make my move and get away from like the crowded traffic cities and the rat race type of stuff. And I was craving nature and to be out in the middle of it, basically, but not the horror house of Warrensburg, like I said. So I talked to the landlord. First, before I talked to the landlord, I talked to, and he was a crazy Scottish guy with like weird, really, really weird dude. And he was a state trooper for a bunch of years and like a judge. He was still a judge at that point. So I don't think the guy really trusted me all that much. A big, tall, I'm 6'5", New Yorker, dressed in black leather, long hair. He's kept asking me about drugs. Like if I knew of anybody around that sold drugs or whatever, I was going to ask him. He's asking me. So that dude, he was kind of a weird guy, man. Very much into his self promotion, believe it or not. Even though this place is in the middle of nowhere. It was on a river, Shroon River, middle of nowhere, right next to a little bridge. Nobody around there. I mean, it was the four apartments in the front. It was that infirmary which was two apartments actually, like a huge building, wraparound porches, and I ended up moving in there to get out of that stone house because the stone house wasn't serving me. But then I talked to my neighbors downstairs, and then they're like, "We hear stuff all the time in the basement, like people walking down there at 2 o'clock and 3 o'clock in the morning, moaning, talking, muffled, crying." So they were from Queens. There were two boys, teenagers, and the mom and the dad. Nice, great family, really nice people. You know, so dad would go down there with a shotgun. Mom and dad had their shotguns, man. No, he'd go down there in the middle of the night and see nothing. There's nothing going on. So they just kind of knew that about the building. But when the other one, because I moved into the other apartment for a lot of reasons, and mainly because it was a nicer apartment. Had upstairs, downstairs, all to itself, really nice. A nice kitchen area, big, huge windows from ceiling to the floor, overlooking the Shroon River and all that, and the view and the mountains. So, if you want to live in a place like that, that's kind of the experience you want. So, and then that place had good energy, man, good feeling. I liked it. Didn't have any problem there. My mom had come up to visit me with her her significant other, who she was actually married to one time way back in the day, and they had gotten back together after everybody told her not to, including our psychic said don't do it, but she did anyway. And then she comes up, and this guy hated me, man. He didn't like me. He knew my father back in the day, didn't like him, so it was that kind of crap. And he was just acting like a jerk the whole time. So they just came up to see. I hadn't moved into the new apartment yet, so I just wanted my mom to like take it to for a walk through and check the stuff out. So we were going out of one door on the side of the house. He was going out the kitchen door, which was 30 feet away from where I was. He said somebody pushed him, and he went sprawling on the ground. Ended up flat on his back. He tumbled and rolled, and then they slammed the door and locked it. And I remember when the door slammed, I was like, "You asshole slamming my door." So he insisted to my mom that I did it. He's like, "Michael pushed me," right? This older guy sounds like a little freaking 5-year-old. He pushed me, but it wasn't me. I'd certainly fess up if I did. If I had thought about it, I would have. But it wasn't me. And then when I realized the energy that was around there and how cool that was, like they were kind of looking out for me, man. They didn't like him either. So the enemy of my enemy is my friend. And that's right. So I lived there for the whole rest of the time. Nothing ever really happened, but you always knew that there was something around. And that's what happens when you live in a situation that we call active, right? So let me get off my story, get back to this story. Let's see. Later that evening, Whitney went to wake up Michael for work. And as he got ready, Whitney began to sweep the living room. As she swept, she saw her husband walk into the kitchen and fix himself some coffee. She says she asked him a question which he ignored. So she asked it again. Nag. Still no answer. Frustrated, she walked into the kitchen but found no one there. Ooh, you mean I was nagging no one? Oh. Whitney walked back into their bedroom to find her husband asleep. I saw him, Whitney says. I swear on my kids, and I'm not crazy. Oh, please don't think I'm crazy. Because repeating this to someone, I know it sounds weird because I've never believed in any of that before, ever in my life. I'm not, but I saw a person walk past the door into the kitchen. Damn it. This happens to people that try to rationalize, right? I didn't see it. I didn't hear it. It wasn't there. It's something in my imagination happened in the corner of my eye, some shadow, whatever. There's something wrong with me. I don't need glasses. Whatever the excuse is. So then came the final straw. You want to know what that was? The day after, Whitney says she saw someone walk into their kitchen and make coffee. Did he actually make coffee though? I want to know. Like when she walked in the kitchen, was the coffee hot? Because that could come in handy. Because when I get up, I gotta make my coffee, man. If ghosts do it before me, I'd greatly appreciate it, especially if they make it right. Okay, let's see. She got her groceries at Kroger on Spillway Circle. I feel like I know where that is. Freaking Spillway. I went to a Kroger. The frick was it? Hold on a second. I went to a Kroger this when I was driving across the country last year. In this, where was it? Ohio. I found a nice store. I just found them to be very expensive. Here's Kroger, 1070 Spillway Circle, Brandon, Missouri. Nope, wasn't there. What a name though, Spillway. Sounds like a nice garden area. Anyway, she just went back from Kroger with her daughter. Her 4-year-old was at the grandparents, and her 7-year-old was at school. Michael was the only one home. Whitney said it was around 12:30 when he called her. Hey, is Paxton home? Paxton. Michael asked. Whitney said no, that he was still at school. When Whitney and her daughter got home, Michael explained the call. He said that he was in bed when he heard the front door close. Then he heard Paxton's door close. Then he began hearing knocking on the walls. He called Paxton's name 5 or 6 times, but there was no answer. That's when he got up and walked into his son's room. Paxton's bedroom light was on, his Xbox was on, and a bottle of water was actively dripping on the floor. So this ghost is getting comfortable. Got the Xbox, got the lights on, got some water. The ghosts need water. After telling Whitney his story, they had a discussion about all of the strange occurrences at their home and when they had begun. And we were sitting around. It's like we were sitting around, and Michael just fixated on that baby carriage that we stuck out. So we stuck it outside. You know, all of our troubles began when we got married. I mean, when I bought that baby carriage. Maybe something like that. As I think back, yeah, since then, everything's been normal. No more knocking, no more footsteps. That's what you do with the porch pirates. You wrap up some haunted gifts and leave them outside. Here, Merry Christmas. The carriage now resides in the garage and has been placed on Facebook Marketplace for $65. Full disclosure, the caption reads, "It's definitely haunted, so yeah." Whitney did say that she eventually removed or received more backstory on the carriage from her mother, who told her that the owner's husband had been killed in a motorcycle accident. Uh, let's see, on the Natchez Trace a year ago. Nachos, Natchez, Natchez. She believed that it's possible that's who she saw walk past him in the kitchen. We both strongly believe that is a spirit attached to that old doll buggy, Michael wrote in a text message with what was going on. So wherever it came from, bring it back and throw it on the goddamn front lawn. Be happy that thing doesn't follow you, man. You know, surround yourself with white light. Take a salt bath. Do something. Whatever you got to do. My God, the knocking and the banging. I love it. Whitney says that she wouldn't argue with anyone who doubts their story, and that she too is hesitant to believe people whose claims, because they're narrow minded. You know, she says, "I'm not stupid. I know how it sounds, but it is what it is." Hey, you took my saying. It is what it is. Is she stupid, guys? Do you think she's stupid? Do you think she's ignorant? I think it's just ignorance. You know, it's more about being ignorant Ignorant. Damn it. So I think that your mind is closed. And what do you think is happening? If there's no reasonable explanation, then you have to start thinking of other stuff, right? Once you've deducted everything you think you can, right, from what it could be. All right. So we've gotten through, it all comes, you know what? If you gotta like protect yourself from that kind of an attack too, man. I mean, they're not physical. I mean, the physicality of a spirit is different than, of course, your flesh and bone. So, and they have kind of a foot in this world, which they really don't belong in anymore. But some of them hang around. So I think that here we go. This is what I'm looking for. Oh, I think that it's cool that all these stories are out there. Like the traditions that a lot of people have are based in like paranormal stories, and I like it. I like that. So it adds an air of, what does it do? You know what? It shows you how open minded people were and how closed minded they are now, right? And now you have this world, you know, of it's just everybody's offended by everything, and you can't you can't say anything to anyone without worrying about if they're going to be offended now, because that's kind of like where their heads are at. You know what I mean? So you get past that. I end up running into a world where you really don't like. Not that you don't care, but you distance yourself, especially from people who are like that. But in the workplace, man, like I work remote, so my castle is my kingdom. And if you work in an office, if you're interacting with other people, even if you're remote and you're interacting with other coworkers, you know, uh, it's just important to be careful what you say, or more like be observant on how someone can twist it and turn it into something horribly negative to use against you, or you have to defend yourself like that. Like I know a guy who worked for BJ's, and good guy, nice guy, friendly guy, very helpful. If I bought anything, if I bought a computer from them or a TV or whatever, like the guy knew about stuff and he cared about his job. Got these girls who were his coworkers, and this is kind of funny. I knew one of the girls. She was a friend of mine from years earlier, and I had not seen her. And then we kind of reconnected, and I gave her my cell number, and she started sending me all kinds of interesting pictures. Man, that was interesting, interesting, interesting. Not that I was, like in that world, like wanting anything like that. But the reality is, like she basically sexually harassed me. But the reality is, this guy goes and tells some kind of joke. I don't even know what the hell the joke was. He said it was just some mild joke, not X-rated, not terrible. And this one was the one who sends out the bra pictures. Uh, Filled out the form for sexual harassment at work. Got together with two other women that he told the joke to, and he got fired. And so it's bad enough you lose your job because of something stupid like that, but you're fired for sexual harassment. Any company out there that's going to hire you, they're going to look at that in your record. That's going to follow you. So it's become a world that could truly damage you, and people are coming up with other ways to try to avoid that at the workplace, like not interacting, which is unnatural because we're social creatures, you know, and humans are anyway. So, the paranormal background of Christmas. We got some time left. How about Santa Claus? Think about Santa Claus. Good old Saint Nick. You're waiting for him to calm down with Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade on the float. The start of shopping season, man. The whole thing's about shopping, about spending your money, about spend. They want you to buy the crap that's been sitting in their store all year long, and then all year long the prices are usually low. When Christmas comes around, they mark it up. Then they say that they reduced it 50%, but they really know that they haven't because they're going by a manufactured suggested retail price, and they whack the hell out of you. You got to give something to somebody. Oh, if you know someone, you got to give something to them. I give all year long, and I give of myself too. But the reality is, with all this other stuff, you know what it's about. It's about the almighty dollar. Dollar. Santa Claus. When I was a little kid, the story didn't even make any sense. I was like three, four, five, I don't know. I'm thinking, I'm looking at the fireplace we never even used, and thinking some big fat white guy is going to come down by the fireplace in the middle of the night with a whole bunch of gifts with reindeer on top of the roof. I knew better. I knew that wasn't going to happen. And then I knew my mom. Mom was out buying gifts, wrapping gifts, doing all that. She ain't no elf. That's not Santa Claus. So why give credit to the big fat white guy that's supposed to slide down your chimney? Give credit to the hardworking people that deserve it, the parents that are out there working their asses off so they can spend thousands of dollars on Christmas. Most people's bills that they're paying off for the whole year occurred at Christmas. Come on, man. One of my friends last year, man, the guy's got kids, lots of them. Man, can't afford this. Kids want everything. The kids wants $1,000, 500, 400 for this. Can't afford this. I can't afford Christmas. I'm like, you need a cheaper religion. You know what I mean? You gotta find something. You gotta find something a little cheaper. You know, kids putting their hand out for, and I get that because I've seen it. So Santa Claus, right? Let's put the paranormal curve on these guys. And we can't forget about Krampus. We're not talking about Christmas without talking about Krampus. Santa Claus, the immortal elfin being, has the power to manipulate time and space and leads a cadre of other elf minions who watch children and visit them while they sleep. Like I said, he only gives the expensive gifts to rich kids. Poor kids get ill. So he's basically an amalgam of the 4th century Greek Christian Saint Nicholas of Myra and the Norse god Odin. Santa is a jolly home invader who can slip down chimneys and give gifts to nice little kids. But if you're bad, then you're screwed, man. Claw's existence is supported by North America Aerospace Defense Command, NORAD, because you don't want to shoot him down. You got to alert NORAD. There's something weird on the radar. Don't worry, it's those aliens. No, I don't think it's that. Some fat guy, a bunch of reindeer, a bunch of deer. Oh, okay. But NORAD's been tracking Santa's journey on radar since 1955. So what about Krampus? So Krampus was Santa's helper. In the beginning, it was Santa and Krampus. So Santa would give the good gifts to the good kids. Krampus would go in there and do whatever, torture them. He's kind of a demonic looking dude. So a companion of Santa, the Krampus, is a hairy goat-like demon with horns and cloven hooves who punishes the naughty children. Emerging from pre-Christian Germanic folklore, he is sort of an anti-Claus that carries chains, sticks, whips to beat children with, and he may even dish out coal. Ha ha! Some parts of the world, coal is very important. That's all the energy they got. They'll want that coal. That's like a gift of energy, man, depending on the culture. But if he's in a bad mood, Krampus, he'll stuff children in his sack or bathtub and carry them to hell for cooking. Ugh. Krampus's night is typically celebrated December 5th in Europe, where people celebrate by dressing as the beast and roam the streets drinking schnapps. Now, I could see that. That might be even fun to do. Where is that? I've been looking for places to go at Christmas. Go to Europe, dress as Krampus, roam the streets drinking schnapps. Probably get killed. Europe's kind of dangerous these days. Used to be kinder, gentler. Not anymore, man. All right, what about the North Pole? So, based on late 19th century contributions by cartoonist Thomas Nast and poet George P. Webster, and seemingly supported by NORAD, Santa Tracker, NORAD legitimized it. We believe Claus lives on a hidden landmass in the icy waters of the terrestrial North Pole and the Arctic Ocean. Damn it. Sort of like Atlantis, but the Santalantis. You know what I mean? Where he tortures his little elves, making them work, not paying them. He's got his toy workshop. North Pole is also home to the icy giant Hyperboreans of Greek myths. The exact location of Santa's home isn't known, but a recent pop culture contribution from the movie Elf suggests in close proximity to 7 levels of a candy cane forest near a sea of swirly twirly gumdrops and apparently not far from the Lincoln Tunnel. That happened to me one time with that bottle of scotch. Yeah, that was by the Lincoln Tunnel. I saw all that. You know, tunnel tunnel bunnies too. What's up with that? They were very friendly though. How about Whoville and Mount Crumpet? All right, another hidden city within a Christmas connection is Whoville. Talk begins anew each holiday season about this species of roast beast eating whoos. Pete Townsend, Roger Daltrey. Discovered by the renowned Dr. Seuss, terrorized by a green cave dwelling bipedal humanoid that resides Mr. Crumpet. Whatever, I don't care about that. How about Black Peter? That sounds interesting. Black Peter. That sounds interesting. A character who accompanies a Sinterklaas in the Netherlands, Black Peter, joins the Jolly Man on a boat from Spain, where they live instead of the North Pole. They live on the boat. See, he's chilling with Black Peter, man. They got some fun going on that boat. And Black Peter assists in distributing goodies to nice children. Peter has alternately been conquered by devil forced to help Santa Claus, a Moorish slave, and a soot-covered chimney sweep. He will punish bad children, but is not normally as mean as Krampus. He's like a different level. He's the nicer Krampus. Krampus's alter ego. Although he has a bag for stealing kids' stuff too, for transport back to Spain. Long Island, you have to be very careful, guys like that with the bag for stealing stuff. They come around the holidays too. That's why I wasn't buying the story of the fat white guy going down. Let's see, I only got a couple minutes left. Flying reindeer. Santa travels the globe in a sleigh led by supposedly immortal flying reindeer, which he had evolved in the North Pole on his private island. At least one of these cryptozoological wonders possesses a bioluminescent red nose. Yeah, man. How about the Bumble? The Bumble. It was discovered in 1964, stop motion animation TV. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer that had the flying reindeer and socialized with a fellow cryptid, the Bumble. A Yeti-like creature known as the abominable snow monster of the north. The large white Bumble has the ability to bounce. Bumbles bounce. All right? But it's prone to sinking. The creature is also apparently enraged by glowing red noses, all things connected to Christmas, but legend has it that it can be domestic by removing its teeth. Ugh, the Bumble gets some dentures, man. Go on that Obamacare, get some dentures. How about magic snowmen? A certain level of sorcery is at play during Christmas, where according to a 1950 musical account sung by Gene Autry, snowmen are reanimated due to potentially possessed items such as a felt hat, magic hat. The snowman can also grow legs to assist walking through traffic stops. At least one incarnation of the magic snowman appeared at the North Pole along Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer in 1964. It's documented on TV. I've seen it. They prefer to offer moral guidance and sing about silver and gold deposits or have a holly jolly Christmas. All right, whatever. Okay, time traveling ghost and human entities. Last one. During Christmas, during Christmas, ghosts and entities conspire to teach important lessons to the morally bankrupt, as Charles Dickens detailed his 1843 novella, A Christmas Carol. And that the doomed is going to get visited, but they don't get visited. Don't do they? They don't. They're just the same as they always are. These are like underdog stories, and the common man loves an underdog story. You know, the unexceptional loves an underdog story. They're the same people that use the words prayer and hope. When if you know life for what it really is, you have to go out there and do it and make it for yourself and use love and kindness as your guide. That is my wish on this winter solstice for everyone for the next year and for years to come. Use love and kindness. Don't let people take advantage of you, but use that love and kindness to go forward in life. You guys have a holly jolly Christmas and some silver and gold for you. If you're poor and you can't afford to eat, those commercials mean nothing to you. And that's the thing. Think about the people that don't have enough. Think about the people that got nothing. Think about the people who are morally bankrupt that have everything, but yet they don't give from their heart. Think about that while you go forward doing your best in life to be the best you can. I'll see you guys next week on this show. Bye.